Welcome to Mainland Television News. I'm Carly Danner, and here's some of what's coming up in today's news. 40-year-old assault victim is stable. Nelson Mayor talks about roading issues. Police Open Day a success all over New Zealand. And Winterruption, a new event to run all week. The 40-year-old male victim of a serious assault in central Nelson last weekend, who was flown to Wellington Hospital in a critical condition after sustaining serious head injuries, is now reportedly in a stable condition. 2 men, a 19-year-old and a 27-year-old, were charged with the wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, appeared in court yesterday. The attack took place around a residence in Rutherford Street near Van Diemen Street around 11:30 p.m. Saturday night. And according to police, they were not looking for anyone else in connection to the assault. Area Commander Inspector Steve Greeley said the victim and the offenders were loosely connected. The investigation is only in the early stages and are still continuing. In our studio this week, Joya Devine caught up with Nelson Mayor Rachel Reese to discuss a local pertinent issue.
MP Nick Smith recently spoke to council about the cycling and walkway options for Rocks Road, and he said, as quoted in the Nelson Weekly, that Nelson will lose a clear urban centre if the region's roads aren't sorted out, and that council is sending mixed messages to the government. He went on to say that council needs to drop all plans for the waterfront until a southern arterial highway through Victoria is built. What is your response to these comments, Rachel?
Well, Joya, the issue over the Rocks Road shared walkway cycleway has come to the Works and Infrastructure Committee, and there's a recommendation to Council that we go out to the community and consult on a couple of options. You'll remember a couple of years ago a boulevard for Rocks Road was promoted, and the budget for that was set at, I think, around $5.7 million. Well, actually that budget was quite unrealistic. The numbers that have come forward range, from 8 million to 35 million, depending on what configuration you put together. Now, the Works and Infrastructure Committee looked at the option that went up to 35 million and said they just don't think that's affordable for Nelson. And I think that's reasonable. I'd say that's not affordable for Nelson. But they do want to go and consult the community over the other two options, so that'll come to council for a decision shortly. My view on this is reasonably well known. I really support improving our waterfront. I think we have one of the most magnificent waterfronts in New Zealand. Do I think it's the place for a really busy state highway? No, I don't. I just don't think that is the place. If you were designing a city, you wouldn't put your logging trucks, your really heavy transport around a waterfront where people want to be there and enjoying the space and the outdoors, walking and cycling. And in the end, I think what we've got, and the officers' reports to the committee were quite clear on this, is that there are going to have to be some compromises. There are going to be some winners and losers, because you can't actually fit everything into that space in an efficient way. The proposals, as I understand them, that are coming forward include greater access across the state highway, because that's something that people of Nelson have been saying to us for some time. We want to be able to cross from one side to the other. So there are crossing points proposed. Now that has a consequence. If you're taking a large truck down around that waterfront, you're trying to get to the port, and you've got people, coming across pedestrian crossings, the potential is you're going to be first gear, second gear, first gear, second gear, all the way from Te Hunanui to the port. Now look, I think we need to put that out to the public and say, well, how do you feel about that? I'm prepared to hear that. I've got my views around the future roading network for Nelson. I think we do need greater network security. I agree with Nick Smith on that. I've looked at the options. The best option that I can see for creating that network security is to connect the southern arterial.
Do you feel that this issue is going to go round and round in circles for still quite some time? Because let's face it, it has been talked about for a long time, Rachel, hasn't it?
It has been, and I think we're getting to the point where we need to make a call on this. So I am looking to the people of the region, and there I would say to the wider region, because that roading network affects not just the people in Nelson City, it does affect the people who are the economic producers out on the Waimea Plains who need to get their product to port. It affects the forestry companies. It is important that we hear from all of the people about what supports a good roading network. Now,
so how can people get back to you about that?
Well, what we'll be doing is the recommendation to council is that we go out and consult on the Rocks Road options. I can't say to you exactly what the council is going to do when it comes up to the meeting, but I would think it's likely that those options will go out to be consulted on with the public. The question I think I would like to put to the public of Nelson at some point is, do they or don't they want to have a third arterial route into the city? Because that is the debate that we've had over and over and over again. But if we're going to have that debate, I also need some commitment from central government, because while our local Member of Parliament has been very supportive of a southern arterial, the New Zealand Transport Agency and the Minister of Transport haven't been forthcoming with any funding. And this is a state highway, so we need to look to central government to give us some direction on this. We need to look to them for some money. I'm not prepared to front the construction of a main arterial route for this for a future state highway out of ratepayer funds. That money needs to come out of Wellington.
Sounds fair enough.
Yeah, at least a significant contribution. I mean, we do have funding that we put into roading programs, but I would be looking for that direction to come from the Minister of Transport, from our local Member of Parliament, from Cabinet itself.
Tens of thousands of New Zealanders visited police stations and events across the country, from Kaitaia to Alexandra and the Cloud in Auckland to the Royal New Zealand Police College in Pororua, as well as here in Nelson during their first ever New Zealand Police National Opening Day. Police Commissioner Mike Bush was encouraged that so many people took up the opportunity to meet their local police officers and have a look behind the scenes at their local police station. Commissioner Bush said that it's really important that the public sees how the police work and why they do the things they do. Along with police fitness testing, a number of kids took up the chance to clock their top sprinting speed with the speed laser, jump into a police car, and check out various pieces of police equipment. Also popular were tours through the cells, the new command centers, mobile technology, and investigating mock crime scenes. Commissioner Bush said he wanted to thank the public who came along to the first opening day. Also the staff's partners who joined in, and also wanted to thank all the police staff who looked after the visitors on the day. Police from all over the country received an overwhelming positive feedback from a range of people that attended the opening day. Shake off those winter blues, because a new event is to be launched this week where there will be a great choice of activities for those attending. Chrissy Small spoke with Tasman District Council Community Recreation Officer Paul McConaughey about what has been planned for the Winterruption event menu.
Winterruption, Paul McConaughey. It's a first, isn't it, for TDC and Richmond Unlimited?
That's right, we're bringing a new festival to Richmond to celebrate this chilly season and give people an opportunity to come out and get involved with some activities that we've got on offer.
So is this for all age groups?
There's a bit of everything on the program, from cooking demonstrations to fashion shows to old time dances to street sports showcases old movies, all sorts really.
Movies in Richmond, that's a first.
Yeah, well actually it's not a first, because the Richmond Town Hall previously in a prior life was a movie theatre dating back to 1939, so we're trying to recapture some of that nostalgia and offer a midday movie matinee in the Richmond Town Hall. It's a week-long jam-packed program, Monday till Sunday. Over the lunchtime period in the Richmond Mall we have either cooking demonstrations or a fashion show that runs from midday to 1 o'clock. The Richmond Town Hall has, like I said before, movies and also an old time dance, and here in Sundial Square in the car park we have a street sports showcase on Saturday afternoon with inline hockey, roller derby and some street basketball for everyone to get involved with.
Well, it sounds like there's a real eclectic mix of something to do for everyone. So, okay, does it cost anyone?
Most of the events and activities are free. There's sort of small charges for the dance, but yeah, mostly free. There's also a lot of the retailers getting behind this, and we'll have sales week, some discount bargains to be had in the shops along the mall in Main.
So Paul McConaughey, would you say that Richmond is definitely standalone, or do you think it's a suburb of Nelson?
We're definitely unique in our own right here, and these kind of events are a way of showing that we're that we have sort of vibrancy here, and can put on a show for anyone really. So if you want to find out more about Winterruption and what's going on, you can check out the Tasman District Council website, www.tasman.gov.nz, and follow the Winterruption link. It's got a complete listing of all the events, the activities, what time, when they're on, how much they cost, and look forward to seeing you along.
The new iddershins track is to open this Friday with an inaugural ride at 10 a.m. The trail will be officially opened on Friday by Councillor Tim Skinner, after which a group from Mainland College will take to the trail for the first official ride. Iddershins is a sign posted from Glider Road at the end of Marsden Valley. Nelson City Council recently spotted the opportunity to improve the experience for mountain bikers using this popular involution trail through the Marsden Valley and Barnacote Range. Resulting with new iddershins trail commissioned by Council, it was built by Nelmac, with technical input from the Nelson Mountain Bike Club. The trail goes around the hillside, linking the top of Glider Road with the start of the involution trail, reducing the climbing time and increasing the length of flat and downhill trail. The track was designed by Nelmac Conservation Ranger and trail building expert Ian Phillips, with the project being completed within budget in under 8 weeks in spite of the May storm event. The trail's name refers to the many left turns of the trail, iddershins, an old word mainly used in Scotland, meaning to go leftwards or counterclockwise. Council has been encouraged by the volume of cyclists using involution, but also aware that the climb up to the Barnacote Range was a barrier for some. The new trail was a natural step in allowing involution to reach its full potential. Nelmac's trail building know-how helped to identify and carve out route that should provide a great ride. This week in Motueka, Chrissy Small caught up with West Coast Tasman MP-elect Damien O'Connor to talk about getting people out to exercise their right to take part in the democratic process in this upcoming election.
Now, Damien, we're coming up to the election. How do we get the young people to vote?
Well, I'm not allowed to tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you that you should all vote. And I'm holding up an enrolment form here. There were 800,000 people who were enrolled but didn't vote in the last election. Now, we hope that those people will vote, but prior to that, you have to get onto the roll. And I know from my office in Motueka, we're providing these, we're getting out, trying to encourage people to get on the roll, check that you're on the roll, and then, that you vote. And whatever that is, whoever you support, be a part of the democratic process, because people around the world, give their lives up and fight for the right to have a vote and be part of democracy. We take it for granted, and it's about time we, recognise how valuable it is, and I just hope that people vote.
Now, what about overseas people who've got family overseas who are on the electoral roll? How do we get the message to them?
Send them an email. I mean, most people now will be well connected. They should be aware of the election coming up. They should be aware of the systems that they need to use to get online, to be registered, and then to make their votes. So if you're a Kiwi and you're passionate about your country, then you should contribute to the system and who runs it, and vote.
I went out with a crew to ask people if they were going to vote in this election. Are you going to vote in this year's election?
Yeah, for the McGilligany Serious Party. That's why I do it.
Yes, definitely.
I will, yes. Oh, I just moved up from Christchurch. We've only been here 2 weeks, so yep.
I guess we will, yeah.
Yep, very much so.
Yes, I will.
I always do, yeah.
Yes, and I'll vote green.
And now for sports, I'll leave you with Raj Agarwal to talk about some of the latest sports successes from around the region.
Well, it's good news for the Nelson under-18 girls hockey team. After 2 dominating victories without conceding a goal, they have brought home the Dobson Cup back from Blenheim last Saturday. Nelson throttled Marlborough 10-0 and West Coast 5-0, with Nicole Kent leading the way with 5 goals in the win over Marlborough. Other standout players for Nelson were Bex Clemenston Harriet Williamson and Bridie Morgan in defense, Morgan Hogworth, Bronnie Edwards, and Brenna Ellis in midfield, and Lily Wilkinson and Mel Harris up front. Now over to men's rugby. The New Zealand under-20 side, along with Tasman's David Havili, who was recently added to the squad, fell to South Africa in what was a thrilling IRB Junior World Championship semi-final. New Zealand played a spectacular first half of the game, but with just 2 minutes remaining in the game, South Africa broke through for a try to break the 25-all deadlock and booked themselves a spot in the finals against England. New Zealand head coach Chris Boyd was proud of the way his team competed, stating, "It was just those little things inside the structure that killed us in the end, and we slightly got our kicking game wrong after halftime, but otherwise, I thought the boys tried really hard." New Zealand will face Ireland in a playoff for 3rd and 4th place in the tournament. Kickoff is set for 5:05 p.m. on Friday, June 20th at Eden Park. The final between England and South Africa will follow at 7:35 p.m. I'm Raj Agarwal, and that's all for your local sports this week from around the region.